Our next example is kind of a riddle of sorts. It says, three math professors are seated in a cafe, and the hostess asks them, "Does everyone want coffee?" The first professor says, "I'm not really sure." The second says, "I honestly couldn't say." The third professor says, "No, not everyone wants coffee." The hostess walks away and returns with coffee for the professors who want it. How did they figure out which professors wanted coffee and which did not? So in this one, you have to kind of read between the dots a little bit, but the idea is that if the first professor knew that they didn't want coffee, then the answer would be no, right? Because the way that the question was asked was, does everyone want coffee? So the answer is either yes or it's no, right? And so if the first professor isn't really sure whether or not they all want coffee, then that means that that professor wants coffee but doesn't have the knowledge of what the other two professors know. The second professor, same situation, right? Still can't say. And the third professor is saying, no, not everyone wants coffee. Well, that means that that person does not want coffee. So the hostess basically just used some logic here, right? So the hostess brings coffee for the first two professors only. All right? And basically, again, like I said, the idea is that if the first two professors cannot say for sure whether or not they all want coffee, then they must want coffee themselves, and therefore they don't know what the other professors want. And finally, this third professor saying that no, not everybody wants coffee. Well, the other two had already basically played their hand, right? And so that means that the third professor is the only one that did not want the coffee. And so that's as simple as that one is, but it takes a little bit of thinking to get there.